Hello, welcome to a layout update. I'm going to attempt today to see if I can do a bit of a concrete wash on all this white, blend it all in before I do the weathering on the tracks. I'm not sure if this is going to fully work because I can't remember how I did it last time. I'm just sort of mixed a bit of an earth coloured wash up, which I think is a little bit too light, but this is the first sort of wash, and I'm just going to sort of go for it, and then it's obviously I'm going to get another few more washes over the top of this afterwards. So I just going to see how it works. So I'm not sure even if I've got it mixed enough paint here. I'm perhaps really need the bigger brush, but the plan was with the bigger brush was to go and dilute it a little bit more. And I want to do this before really I do the weathering, because obviously the weathering is going to then go onto the concrete as well, which is how I want it. And it's not really looking like any concrete I have seen yet, but early days. It was like this on the previous one that I did, and I was quite happy with the result in the end. Took a few more experiments and washes, but it did turn out. So I think we will have enough mixed up, because it's going on quite nice and thin, quite brown looking though. And to fix that, I want to, before it dries fully, I just want to put a bit of water on a brush and just thin it down even more. And then when I put the next colour over the top, I'm hoping we get a lot more concrete look. Okay. Well, now I've started, I can't really back out with this colour, so I'm going to have to go over the whole lot and see how it actually physically turns out. So we'll come back in a little while once I've actually gone over the whole of this, and we'll just see how it looks, and I haven't made a big mistake. Right, I've got the sort of first coat of colour wash on. Not convinced just yet. I'm not sure if it's coming out of the same colour as I can see it on the camera, but it's not looking like any concrete I know just yet. So I've got a few more washes that I need to put over the top, but I've got to let this dry, or otherwise it's just going to mix all the colours into one mass, and I'm not really going to see what I want. You know, so what I'm trying to do is get this sort of shade of grey. So I've got the first sort of base coat, and now I need to start putting some greys over the top to try and get that look I want. Wish me luck. Okay, I will see you once all this is dry and we'll give it another go. Okay, I've let this dry for quite a while actually. It's been about 24 hours actually, because I've not had a chance to come down and do anything on the layout. So I'm going to try now a bit of a grey wash that I've made, and see if I can get this to start to look a bit like the concrete that I want. I'm just going to put a bit on initially, and just to see sort of how this is going to go on. Yeah, will it get the colours that I want? I don't know just yet. I think it's going to take a little bit of time to get this as really perfect. In fact, I'm going to go for a bigger brush, I think. And so this is a very watery look sort of wash, but don't want to paint it because it'll just turn into one solid colour, and that would just look too solid, you know, too sort of block. So you can see the colour that we put on earlier is definitely showing through. So that's good news. This is a mix of basically black, white and a little bit of green, just to give it a slight, you know, sort of a bluer look to it. I might need to do a slightly different colour, for the next one, but this is actually not looking too bad now. I should have had a little bit more confidence after last night. And once I've got all the sort of concrete look, I can then concentrate on getting the track all weathered in, and then we can get the harbour actually fitted to the quayside and really start to work on the layout. Right, that is going to take a little bit of drying time, so I might have to leave this another 24 hours before I do the next coat. So I will be back maybe later this evening. Might be able to do a little bit more on it, but you know, we'll come back and have a look at this again. Well, it's been a little bit of a time, and I think it's okay. There's had a couple of washes on here. It seems to look okay. There's a couple of minor bits. There's a little piece of white that just does not want to cover, which obviously I'm going to investigate why. You know, I'm not sure. There's a couple of bits that the wash has come off, but I've matched it up with some sort of concrete paper that I was going to use, and that's sort of very similar sort of colour and very similar sort of texture, so you can see what I was actually aiming for. So that seems to be okay. I've tried the harbour wall on there, and that sort of matches up a little bit. I think a bit of weathering powders on here, and then it will sort of blend in a little bit more. But before that, I'm going to get the track and ballast all weathered in, and just get some grass sort of textures in here first before I do that weathering. So that's my first job, just to get a bit of grass texture in there. Then I'm going to need to leave the glue to dry, and then I'm going to start weathering the track. And it's just pretty basic stuff, just using this www.psgstudio.co.uk. It's wild autumn, it's static grass. So it's just any standard static grass and just some PVA glue, basically. I'm not using a static grass applicator because I don't really need it looking like that, because I'm going to weather it in anyway. So I'm not interested in all the shades, because the shades will come from a bit of the weathering paints that I'm going to use. And I just want odd bits just in where the ballast is. So I'm just using a strainer. Find out this is just an easy way for what I'm going to use it here. And I always have more layers. I just want it to look a little bit sort of overgrown, and I'm going to put some larger sort of bushes and weeds in here as well. So it's just like the first coat of the grass, and then I can get the weathering done. I am also going to put a little bit round just onto the edges of where it sort of meets the concrete, and I'm going to be putting a little bit into the concrete eventually, but not just yet. So this I don't need as much, so I'm just going to put, and then a little bit of brushing in. So I'm just going to go all the way along, probably off camera on some of this little bits. So all I'm doing is I just want to make just a small area in between. So some of it's going to be a little bit more overgrown than others. And just the same again, get some static grass. Really just after a bit of a thin layer. So once these start to dry a little bit, I'll get the rest of the excess off. And I just need to go along this edge now, so let me work on that. Doesn't have to be as accurate, it's wild. And the idea is it's just where the concrete sort of breaks up a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit in the middle there and a bit round the that little area. And just blend the glue in just so it doesn't clump up. I'm not going to waste this, just keep using it. Might look like you put on absolute loads, but not really used a lot. As you can see, not really gone down a lot. So I'm going to leave that glue to dry and get some of the excess off, and then I'm going to weather the tracks. Okay, time to weather the track on this episode. Everything is all nicely dry. I've done a little bit of, couple of little bits of extra wash, couple of bits of darker grey just in a few spots. That's really it. More on the, and I've got some weathering powders that I'm going to add on to this a little bit. But I'm going to concentrate on getting this track nicely weathered in now. There's not much to do, so I'm just going to be using this railway fast method, and it's really simple. You just follow the instructions on the back and you get a really good result. I've used this many times, so I'm going to be looks like a bit of paint or something on the track there. I'll clean. Anyway, I've got to clean it all up afterwards I've done this, so I'm not too worried. Right, I'm going to get the first colour on. Right, I have the first colour all loaded into the hairbrush, and I'm just going to give it a quick test just before I start. And this one is, so we sprayed this up on the rails itself. So I do already have a sort of coat on these rails, so I'm not going to go mad. still. Yeah. Maybe quite dark on the yeah, I can see it coming out. So I'm trying to do such a light coat over it. Anyway, that's the first. Oh, I want to do this bit down here. Just a little bit more. Right, I think that's the first bit done. I'll just turn that off. Yeah, I was just saying. That's the first piece done. Going to let this dry, get the next colour on, and just follow the basically the diagram. You know, so and you can't go wrong. Alright, we're going to get the second coat on, which is this earth colour, and it's just going to go along the sides. So. And there we go, just as quick as that. I'm going to let that one dry, and then we can start getting the next colours on. This next colour is a like a dust colour. It's supposed to just go on the outside, so I'm just going to, and that's working alright. Just going to throw a very light layer of this. And I think that's all I need of that. So let's have a look at the next one. This one is old rust, and you have to be a little bit careful on this one because it can overpower from what I've used in the past. So that's all I'm gonna do with that one. That's just enough, I think, on there. It's starting to look quite dirty and grimy, so there's a bit of black that I need to do just down the middle, and that's really it. So with this black, I just need to do down the middle. It's supposed to represent the oil that's come down. So this can definitely overpower your track. Sometimes I use actually just a brush to push this on, but I'm just going to go with it now. And a very light covering. Go for a slightly darker piece on this, just on this side in. And what I might do is rock it over just across it a bit there. And I think that's it for the weathering. Yeah, that looks okay. Just need to clean the tops of the tracks off again and clean the point blades out, and I think that's all done. So I'm going to start to get the paint on the harbour and get the harbour in there then. I'm not sure on what I'm doing with the water yet, because I've only got like 2 sides and I need 4 sides if I'm going to pour water in, so I'm going to need to work that out. Okay, hope you've enjoyed watching this, and I will see you on the next episode. Oh, just before we go, I'll give you a quick look at how this has turned out close up. Okay, you can actually see how this has turned out now. So hopefully it's coming out good. And you can see some of the how I did on some of the concrete. So I did just splodge a couple of darker grey patches on, and you can see it looks quite effective, I think. So like I said a few minutes ago, hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I will see you on the next one. Have a good evening or a good rest of the day. Take care.